What does it mean when Israel's defense minister threatens Iran's supreme leader with the words, "Remember what happened to Saddam Hussein"? This was not some off-the-cuff comment. It was a calculated warning from Israel's defense minister, Israel Katz, directed straight at Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei.
אני מזהיר את הדיקטטור האיראני מהמשך ביצוע פשעי מלחמה וירי טילים לעבר אזרחי ישראל.
And this came during a moment of intense friction between Israel and Iran.
Right now, we are most likely the hours before a major escalation, rather de-escalation.
So why is this warning from Israel and reference to Saddam Hussein so important here? Let's rewind that in this video. Saddam Hussein was the president of Iraq from 1979 to 2003 and also once an ally of the United States, especially after the 1979 Iranian Revolution when Iran became a common enemy for both Iraq and the West. But that alliance shattered in 1990 when Saddam ordered the invasion of Kuwait, claiming the small Gulf country was siphoning oil from Iraq via slant drilling. The US under President George H.W. Bush launched Operation Desert Storm in early 1991. Saddam lost the war but stayed in power. Throughout the 1990s, Saddam faced UN sanctions, was accused of massacring Shia and Kurdish populations, and allegedly pursued chemical, biological, and nuclear weapons programs. Then came September 11, 2001. The US, now led by President George W. Bush, launched a global war on terror. While the US invaded Afghanistan to hunt down the leadership of Al-Qaeda, including Osama bin Laden, the Bush administration argued that Saddam Hussein posed an imminent threat, claiming he had weapons of mass destruction and links to terrorism. On March 17, 2003, President Bush issued a chilling ultimatum. Saddam Hussein and his sons must leave Iraq within 48 hours. Their refusal to do so will result in military conflict. Saddam did not budge. On March 20, 2003, the US, along with the UK and a coalition of the willing, began a massive invasion of Iraq.
On my orders, coalition forces have begun striking selected targets of military importance to undermine Saddam Hussein's ability to wage war.
The war lasted 5 weeks. By May 1, 2003, President Bush delivered his infamous mission accomplished speech.
In the Battle of Iraq, the United States and our allies have prevailed.
But the mission was not accomplished. US forces failed to find weapons of mass destruction. In December 2003, at approximately 8:30 p.m. in Iraq, Saddam was found hiding in a spider hole near his hometown, Tikrit. He was captured, tried by an Iraqi court, and sentenced to death for killing 148 men and boys in Iraq in 1982. On December 30, 2006, Saddam Hussein was executed by hanging. It was filmed, it was scary, and it sent a message. But removing Saddam did not bring peace, it brought chaos. The Coalition Provisional Authority, led by US Administrator Paul Bremer, made two fateful decisions. Number one, firing tens of thousands of civil servants who had Baath Party ties. And number two, leaving hundreds of thousands of trained armed men jobless and angry. And this created the perfect storm for insurgency. By 2004, Al-Qaeda in Iraq had emerged and started waging bloody attacks. By 2014, its successor, the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, ISIS, had captured Mosul and declared a caliphate. Between 2014 and 2017, IS killed and executed thousands in the name of narrow interpretation of Islam. Before 2003, Iraq acted as a buffer state between Iran and the Arab world. After the invasion, that buffer collapsed. Iran quickly filled the vacuum. And this expansion of Iranian influence is what Israel fears the most. So when Israeli officials invoke Saddam, they are warning not just of regime change, but of what happens when regimes collapse. This raises an unsettling question. Is Israel still preparing for a targeted strike on Khamenei? And if so, would the US, under a different administration, let it happen? So when Israel says remember Saddam, it's not just referencing a dictator's fate, it's invoking a playbook, one where military action can succeed in the short term, but the long-term effects can reshape entire regions, unleash terrorist movements, and destabilize the world for decades. Do you think a strike on Khamenei would stop Iran's influence or open the door to another endless war? That's all for now. For more such explainers, stay tuned to the Indian Express. Thank you so much for watching.